Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Real Football Talk, and we are back with the Premier League. And what a fantastic weekend it has been! Well, not really weekend. Boxing Day has been so far. Adil, glad for Premier League to be back. World Cup finished.
Yeah. It's more, loads of games. Get back into single things.
You know what? Doesn't seem like it's been away. The games and the intensity you can see. It seems like it just carried on from where it left off.
Yeah, I think they've done it quite well. The timing seemed perfect. The gap between the last game and the way it's resumed
Hmm.
uh, and the way the teams have prepared for it. I mean, they've done it like another pre-season.
Mini
Uh,
preseason, yeah.
yeah, and what is evident is there's what part one of the takeaways for me as a coach is there's no substitute for playing matches because a lot of the teams have thrown in their World Cup players straight away because they're actually still more fitter
Yeah.
than those who have been through a grueling 10-day or 2-week preseason camp. Uh,
Hmm.
and playing 3, 4, uh, friendly matches and inter matches and behind closed door
Not
friendlies, and you
not
name
not
it.
not unless you're Calvin Phillips, who came back overweight apparently. But yeah, that's another story.
Yeah, but he didn't really play at the World Cup, so he
Yeah.
didn't get his fitness there, did he? So
No.
I think that one is actually makes sense because he was
Mm.
injured before the tournament and then wasn't really playing while everyone else is doing a pre-season. So, but
Mm.
yeah, that's another thing to discuss, ain't it?
Yeah, that's fine. But yeah, let's get going, Adil. Start at the top of the table, Arsenal. What do you make of them 3-1 win?
Yeah, big statement. Um, and I think
Great character shown, I would say as well.
yeah, I think it's key. It's key because it's showing everyone what we thought anyway, that there's a lot more belief and winning mentality in this. But they're a bit more developed in being ready for this moment than any of us realized. I
Mm.
think they've shown signs of that before the break, before the World Cup, and they kept answering the questions, and it's the manner in which they're doing it, which gives you that belief that you know what, this isn't just momentum or this isn't just confidence. Is there's actually a lot of fight, a lot of the other ingredients needed,
Yeah.
edge to it. There's a lot more to this. That's why they're going to be
Mm.
tough to topple because of that. Because they're proving that they have the belief.
Do you
Uh,
know what? Do you know what I liked? I liked the fact that they didn't give up on what they were doing because the way they were playing, it wasn't that it's just they weren't connecting. That's all it was. But they carried on doing it. Usually Arteta changes it and does his mumbo jumbos, but he didn't do that. They carried on going, and it proved at the end.
that's the key. The key is, like I said, it's that word, that belief, and that added composure that they have because
Mm.
they're, they're showing that they really believe in playing this attacking football, aggressive football, taking the game to the opposition, not taking a backward step. And their commitment to it is what you have to admire. Because when you look at all the teams, I mean, the two most aggressive teams are currently top of the table. If you look at both Arsenal and Newcastle, they're the teams that are looking to play um, a higher tempo, quick transition, possession based game. They're the most aggressive with the press off the ball. You look at City this year, they're picking and choosing when they're pressing.
Yeah.
Yes, they dominate the ball, but they don't play that many risky passes all the time. They wait till they get the overloads and then they play at a slower tempo. But you look at the tempo and the risk and that Newcastle and Arsenal are playing, it's the most aggressive out of any other team, and they're getting rewarded for that. So you have to just compliment them that they're sticking to their guns, they're sticking to their belief, and it's real. At the end of the day, there's West Ham going 1-0 up against the run of play. It's a
Yeah,
banana skin. It's a not getting that
definitely.
penalty, having a goal disallowed. Uh,
That
it's
was so
they were
unlucky.
weak mentally.
That was so unlucky.
Yeah, I mean the touch on Saka, yeah, that was really unlucky. I mean, it looked like a bad decision from the line, and I was thinking, what is
Yeah.
it? But then you see that touch, and the thing is, I don't know if the linesman actually saw that touch. It's not
I think he
real
genuinely
time,
just
but if he
flagged it.
did, you have to give credit. You have to give
Yeah,
credit for noticing that. But yeah, I mean, they had every reason to feel like this ain't our game.
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
They were definitely helped by West Ham, though. I mean, West
I mean,
Ham.
the first goal was unfortunate. I mean, the way they lose the ball, maybe not, but I'm saying in terms of Ødegaard's shot and the way he got to like obviously Saka, but great finish from him.
No, but at the end of the day, the fact is they're going on like this is a team that's been challenging for top for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
The Europa place for the last 2 years. They're strengthened. They've got a stronger squad. They've got good players. They got some quality players. Ben Rama, they got technically good players on the pitch, and Antonio was getting the better of Gabriel every time the ball got played up to him.
Yeah.
So they had matchups that were working, and that's where you just think. I was reading about the stats, and West Ham stats are better than most of the teams. It's like in the top 6 for a lot in a lot of areas.
Yeah.
Like chances given and chances created and whatever. They should be in the top 6 apparently. And when you read that, you realize then it only comes down to one thing: it's mentality, and you see it every match. They're so negative, like. They went 1-0 up and they decided to drop another 10 yards back. You had people sweeping. So you're saying unlucky. I don't think it's unlucky because at the end of the day, why is Sufa sweeping so much that he keeps Saka on side?
Yeah.
Why are you dropping that deep when there is no one running in behind? No one's running behind.
No, definitely. I get what you mean.
So yeah, they've got real problems with their mentality, and as much as the stats show, they're quite well-drilled team, organized, they'll compete. At the end of the day, the mentality is a big problem.
I think it's kind of being pointed out at the media now. Obviously, it seems like Declan Rice is kind of not happy with the situation because clearly they're not performing to the levels he expects them to. It just seems like everything's moving forward. Declan Rice moving out of the team, really.
I always disagree with clubs trying to act bigger than they are. And we've got recent examples. You got Bournemouth.
Yep.
They wouldn't let Aki go. They wouldn't let so many of their better players that had outgrown the club clearly go. You just can't have that mentality. You got them relegated because they ended up with 4 or 5 players who don't want to stay there. Yeah, to bigger clubs. Another one we've seen suffer this year is Leicester City. They didn't let Ndidi go. They didn't let certain players go. They held on for Fana. They held on to a season too long, and it creates issues and within the club. The harmony you cannot keep. At the end of the day, it's different when it's it's a top 6. When the top 4 come knocking, when you can't deny the chance to better themselves, the chance to go and and you think
compete and win stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, but do you think if you look at it, do you think players like Kante or Kyle Walker, Peters, or any of these guys regret the decision of moving, or even Grealish wanting to? They're winning titles.
Yeah.
They're in the national team. Their profile is huge. They're getting much better pay. They're not putting up substandard players, substandard training.
But in every facet of their life is an improvement. You look at it, every facet. Like even Calvin Phillips, if he was injured for Leeds, I don't think he gets into that England team probably.
Nah, I think he won his place in the Euros with Southgate. Southgate's alone, man. Let's not go back to Southgate. But yeah, I disagree with you on that. Calvin Phillips, even at Leeds, would have been made the squad because he's won over Southgate. But I get your point. I get what you're trying to get at. That at the end of the day, those players have improved themselves. They have now. How do you expect players to keep rejecting that, or club being, hard nosed? And it's not like they're not being offered silly money. It's just pure greed. But at what cost? Because you're actually damaging your club.
Yeah, but some of them, it's not even over much. It's like 5 odd million they're fighting for. It's like just stick another add-ons or something on and just let the guy go if he doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, I mean, I just think, some clubs don't realize their position in the hierarchy. You got to accept it,
but
or else it comes back to bite you.
Is Moyes under pressure? Do you reckon he's gonna? Because obviously they're 1 point off the bottom, are they? Under pressure, is West Ham in trouble, or do you reckon they're just going through a kind of torrid period?
He is under pressure. There's no way that he's not under pressure. Just spent big money.
Yeah,
the ball players in. I think it's a case of like Rodgers. He'll manage to fix it and get them up to mid-table-ish.
Yeah.
They're not far off where they need to be. I think it's like what we said with Nottingham Forest and Steve Cooper, and even with Leicester and it's all about the partnerships. There's certain players that shouldn't be playing in the back line. Granted, with Leicester, Amati, their upturning fortunes has been with Amati playing.
Yeah.
But you see today again, the
we'll
game
get to it. We'll get to it.
Lost. Yeah, we'll effectively lost because of a player. We saw it in the Forest. As soon as they get rid of Steve Cook and finally got the name right, Steve Cook and McKenna.
Were you doing research before the podcast? Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not as tired. Let's put it down. So they're keeping clean sheets. Here it's the same thing. I mean, I'm sorry, you cannot play a fullback at centre back. Kera.
Yeah, I mean, that's a surprising one. I thought he was a cover for Kufal, but since he's joined West Ham, he's been playing as a centre back.
Yeah, but it's just trying to be too clever, isn't it? It's trying to be too clever, worried about Nketiah's pace. Not being funny. Granted, Nketiah played really good today. But if you look at who was the player that he was doing every single time, it was Kera.
Yeah.
So busy worried about his pace. All the damage he did was posting up or turning Kera. It's actual basic defending that Ogbonna would have dealt with much better.
But it's not that Ogbonna hasn't performed before. Ogbonna's been really good for West Ham before. So it's strange.
He's played in all the friendly games. He's back from injury. I think Moyes messed up because, and he might, I don't know, maybe he's being too cute and thinking about the game at the weekend more, and the double header that's coming up because there's the 2 games in quick succession.
Yes.
And maybe he's thinking of that, but those players only came back to training this week at West Ham, the World Cup players. So I just think it's a bit of a on goal to then put them straight in. Even Paqueta, I thought he was West Ham's best player. He looked really good every time he was on the ball, but putting them straight in when you've had 3-4 friendly games with the team and you settled with the lineup and you're pretty much playing the same lineup, then suddenly those 3 or 4
completely changed. Yeah,
it just changes the dynamics. So I think Moyes is making mistakes. I think he's trying to be too cute. He needs to go back to basics.
Yeah,
realize where they're at, get some stability, and he will. He'll figure it out because he's a good manager. So
Yeah. With regards to what's it called? Sorry, Arteta and Arsenal. How much of a big boost for them to go into a big week coming up? Because obviously they got Brighton away, and then Newcastle. Big game coming up.
yeah, I mean Brighton away. I'm not sure. I think Brighton is that type of team that at the moment they play
It's
better
always
away from
for
home.
us. It's always been a pain for us, Brighton.
It's a different Brighton now, and you can see that already. They're a team that seem to play better away from home
Mm,
than they do at home now. So that they enjoy the space that playing away gives them
sure.
because they're very good with tactically in occupying the number 10 position. And today, obviously, they played with the first nine. So I just think matchup wise, they're easier to play at home than they are away when they play away. So I think, I mean, sorry, easier to play away than at home. So yeah, I'm not sure. Let's see with that one. Obviously, Newcastle is a huge game because
Yeah.
I think they like Arsenal are just the informed team, in it. They've
Mm,
got 6 on the bounce. I think Arsenal is something similar, 7 games or
7
something.
games. Yeah. Well, they won the
They've
last 10 at home, so yeah.
so yeah, but both teams on fire. So yeah, it's going to be big month. January is going to be a huge month. Couple of dicey games,
There's so many good fixtures coming up, I think. But I mean, since talking about Newcastle, I mean, another great away performance at Leicester 3-0. I mean, you briefly mentioned about Marte's penalty that he gave away straight away at the beginning of the game. But it was just a first half demolition and then just ghosted.
Yeah, again, I just don't get why teams can't respect or understand that there's 2 teams in this league that come out firing in the first 20 minutes. That's Arsenal and Newcastle. They literally throw everything at you, and you just respect it. If in the 90th or last 10 minutes of a game, you're happy to hoof the ball to hold on to a win because you know the
Yeah.
other team's coming strong. You got to sometimes recognize that this team is better than you. They're they're
In
very
a
aggressive.
better place, isn't it? They're at a better place.
Play in the right zones for the first 20 minutes, and then start get your way back into the game. And they clearly don't. So yeah, they got punished for not doing their homework really, and it's nothing new. I mean, it's what we've seen the aggressive press, the way in which they do it.
And then the brilliant
And
goal from Albion.
yeah, and yeah, it's good. And like I said, they're playing well. They're playing aggressive. They're the 2 teams that are the most aggressive. And with Newcastle, it's slightly different because they don't have Europe.
No, no. So they're
And,
fresher.
and
Always.
Europe will become more of a factor for Arsenal once it gets to the later stage and better teams because right now they can play full second string.
Yeah.
The competition isn't strong enough.
Well, for one, obviously we're gonna miss that games in February. I think our first European game will be in end of February and March. So we missed that. I think it's called like knockout stage, round of whatever it was. The Champions League team and the second place team go into that battle really. So we'll miss all of that. So it'll be good.
The good teams have avoided.
Not for United. Not for United, I think.
They'll probably make more money from losing against Barcelona than winning the competition. I'm sure the directors are happy.
But I mean, Leicester. I mean, it seemed like they had a good upturn in terms of going into the World Cup, but again, back to square zero again.
I think that's just where they're at the moment. Where Leicester, the way they play is very tactical. It's very technical, a bit like quite a few of the teams now because there's so many European coaches. Obviously, Brendan Rodgers is British, but he's always been ahead of his time and always had a European influence. So there's certain teams that basically are very tactical and technical in the way they attack. The attack spaces that you give them, they'll suck you into certain zones and then attacking, a bit like Brighton. So all of that goes out the window when you concede the first goal or thingy,
Yeah.
because then you just don't have that identity to just take the game to someone and go hell for leather, because so much of your tactics is based around the space that the opposition gives you, rather than just backing yourself. This is the way we play, a bit like Arsenal. We're gonna play in our zones. We're gonna play combinations. We're gonna pass in tight spaces. Leicester isn't like that. They've got certain moves that they do, and they're playing based on the spaces you give them. Now you concede a goal and everyone drops back, or controls the.
Well, I mean, that goal changes the whole game, doesn't it? And the game plan, especially when it's the third minute, it just changes everything that you talked about, or you probably developed over the week.
Yeah, especially against
informed Newcastle team.
Newcastle team, which again can play on the counter as well, because they've got the pace and the individualism up top, and they got the players like Gomes and them who can suck you in and then play the killer ball. So it's just not, it's not a team you want to concede against, because they become very difficult to create chances and to open them up, which is exactly what's happened.
Yeah. I mean, Newcastle looking very good. I mean, Eddie Howe continued on from before the World Cup, but they are second now. I do second, point clear of Man City, who play obviously on Wednesday. What do you make of the title run? Do you think they need to invest in January, maybe get a few bodies in?
I think they don't. You can't say they need to, but because they have had injuries.
I mean, maybe just to push for that top four, and like obviously a few player will aid them in that.
Yeah, if the right player comes up, always improving your squad helps. But you think about, they've had quite a few key injuries as well.
Yeah.
They've had, say, Maximum out for quite a bit. They've had Isak out. They had Shelby, who was playing.
Yeah.
Really, a big player for them.
Wilson out again. So.
Yeah. So, and they managed well. So, yeah, strengthening could help, but I wouldn't say it's essential because they're not in Europe. But if they want to really go, I don't know how they're doing in the cups. I think, are they still in the FA Cup? Are they still?
FA Cup third round is coming up next week, so
I don't know if they're still in the EFL quarters. I can't remember.
Not sure. I don't think they are. I don't think they are.
If they are, then maybe they can. They could do it, strengthening. But it depends who it is. If it's a statement signing, then it just lifts everyone, takes them to a different edge. If it's a player that's going to take them to another level or bring belief or experience, then that's just going to take them to another. If it's a promising player, I'm not sure. Sometimes that can unbalance the team, because you're ultimately going to have to play him ahead of someone who's been doing very well for you already.
Yeah, no, I agreed. Let's move on, Adil. Liverpool 3-1. Do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of when Klopp kind of, not first season, that second season, winning a lot of chances by outscoring oppositions, and that's what this game reminded me of. What did you make of it?
But we've said that before the break. We said this variation of 4-2-2-2. So many teams are doing that. It's shocking me. The guy who created it is probably the worst exponent of it. You look at all the other teams.
Or was it United? And not Ragnick.
Well, he certainly didn't know how to implement it. Like, you got everyone, all the other coaches who are taking on the same concepts and basically executing it much better. So yeah, we said it. The thing with this is you're gonna create chances and you're gonna not have control of matches, and you can give up a lot of chances.
Yeah,
that's what the whole system is about. Beating the press. Teams that press you, you've got the square or double squares to play between the lines. and you've got people positioned in spaces where if they press you, it's easier to pass out.
Mm.
So yeah, I just think this is the Liverpool. And first half they played really good, completely dominated. It was a surprise to see how much they let it go in the second half into a tennis match.
Yeah.
You
I
know,
mean,
again,
I don't know. At one point, it looked like it could have been like 3-3 or something like that because
yeah, I mean,
Aston Villa
the
had
thing
so
is,
many chances at
that second, but the thing is, and this is where the problem is Emery is not an inexperienced manager. So he's played against teams that's probably tried playing this system, and he's made the adjustments. He went to
yeah,
the same lineup, same formation. He went to 4-2-2-2 effectively himself. Put Bailey up top,
yeah,
and that was the whole system gone. I mean, Bailey was running in behind and causing them so many
yeah.
problems. And they had a lot of good chances, good opportunities where they just messed up the final ball, or the shot was a bit wayward, or the offside, you know. But yeah, it became a tennis game, and it shouldn't be when you're halftime 2-0, where you dominate and control the game. Aston Villa never had a sniff in that first half. It was complete domination, and then second half you're hanging on.
But I get Liverpool have obviously changed their system and stuff. But why is there something? I mean, there's a lot of change, it seems like, with Liverpool because before Liverpool would still control the game. What's the major difference between them? Because they still got someone like a Thiago that or Henderson's in there or the
Well,
Fabinho that game.
they're asking two. The main difference is they're asking two defensive midfielders to do the job that used to be done between three. And one thing that is bad enough, you're asking two to do the job of three, but the other problem is they don't have the legs. Thiago is struggling to go cover the left side and cover so they don't have the legs to do it in a two-man
Mm,
midfield. And obviously they get caught out because it's still quite an aggressive system in the sense that this Liverpool still want to press high up. So sometimes, like happened in the second half, which is what Emery figured out, is as soon as, because the two Fabinho and Thiago were still pressing the opposition midfielders. And that's fine when you only have one striker. As soon as you go for two strikers, it exposes you because the direct ball into the strikers,
yeah, is open.
there's no protection for them. So, yeah, they got kind of exposed because of the change in it by getting by up front alongside Watkins.
Sorry, in terms of pool, obviously they need to recruit some midfielders in the winter. Probably Klopp briefly spoke about it, but they seem to have gone and got Gakpo, stolen from United again.
Well, it's it seems like if they do get Gakpo, I'm sure Van Dijk must have been in the Klopp's ear telling him So yeah, I mean he must be as good as everyone thinks he is because I can't imagine that position being the priority signing for Liverpool, considering they invested in their forward line quite heavily in the last two transfer windows. All that tells me is potentially Luis Diaz's injuries, a bit more concerned about Jota's injury than maybe we're all led to believe, and that's why it's definitely we need top four now. We're going through a sale, and we want the value of Champions League to put the price up. So I think it's a signing for now because it just shows, maybe Jota's injury situation and Luis Diaz's situation are good. So not a great confidence builder for Carvalho.
I mean, but I mean, it's terrifying for everybody else. They're just stacking up player after player after player.
Well, a very good player. He's he's very good at linking up others in the play.
Where are they going to use him, Adil? False nine?
Well, the thing is, he plays between the lines. So in this 4-2-2-2 system, he's actually perfect. Whether you play him on the inside left or you play him up top, he's perfect because he's very good at and comfortable at playing between the line, using his body to protect the ball and bring players into the game. His link-up play is excellent, and he's got enough pace to burn you if you get too tight to go in behind. I think he suits a lot of this modern type of a lot of teams. He suits Arsenal, he suits United, he suits Liverpool, he suits teams that are playing a bit more faster, higher tempo. He really does, because he can do he can do everything really, and he'll improve. He's young, so
he's only what, 23, I think he's.
And I think it's going to be a big body blow for United. At the end of the day, they were in for Núñez, they lost out, and now they're going in for Gakpo if they lose out.
Are you disappointed?
I'm not too disappointed. I mean, you know, he's a good player, but I do think Martial plays a very similar style to Gakpo. I think you know, if I was to say who plays similar to Gakpo, I'd say Martial. You know, the style is quite similar. So unless you're planning to sell Martial, you end up with two players very similar in their style, in the way they play, the link up, the style of centre forward that they play. Maybe only difference is Gakpo is maybe a bit more intelligent in recognizing when to run in behind.
And I think he does more off the ball as well. I do think that than Martial.
Yeah, definitely, probably. So yeah, I mean, not gutted, but clearly it's someone Ten Hag wanted. So
another one to mention, obviously Núñez came in the summer, a lot of money, but what do you make of his performance today? He had loads of chances, but obviously got an assist at the end of it. But I think he's terrified that defense. Terrified that defense.
I think he's going to be phenomenal. Every time I watch Liverpool, even the ones where he missed his open goals, I just think this guy is just going to be unplayable. Once he learns composure, because he seems to smash
that's what's missing.
He seems to smash the ball first time every shot. He doesn't like taking a touch.
Yeah.
He doesn't like placing. He loves lacing every shot. And I think once he learns that, dude, you're super fast for a reason, and that is to buy you more time on the ball. Once he gets that composure, it's going to be unplayable, because the guy's just got everything. I mean, he dominates games the way you see Haaland dominate different. I mean, the guy is going to be a phenom. And I really believe, they're onto a special signing. I get scared by the potential.
Do you know, even like that? I mean, miss kick from, I forgot who he missed kick. I think it was a Konsa, and it went up really high. And he looked at the keeper. He saw the keeper stood, and I was really surprised. I mean, I rate the confidence for him going for it, but I was just really surprised he just didn't bring it down, side foot in.
Yeah. But the other thing is the speed. I mean, it's phenomenal how fast he is and how much he's running in behind, running down the channels. And today was the first time I saw that a bit more unselfishness and composure in laying the ball off. I mean, he created quite a few chances for other players today, like for Thiago and all of them, like with his crossing, he's picked out players, which other games he hasn't done. He's been quite selfish and just taken a shot.
To me, that's another area for him to improve on, isn't it, Adil?
Yes, decision so you're already seeing a bit more of an all-round game. But once he sorts out his composure and realizes how much time he actually has because of the pace, because of his pace, how much time he creates for himself, he's going to be unstoppable. I really do think. I mean, he's a serious talent, and yeah, I can see him in a few, you know, even in a few years pulling up numbers like Haaland. I really can. He's unstoppable. I can't see how you can stop him with his physical attributes.
In terms of pull and the back, or still a long way to go for them?
Yeah, I mean, unless they change their system and their identity, I really do think it's going to be fun watching Liverpool. It's going to be the highest scoring game, the most chances created, the most chances given away. And they've got the players that are a bit more clinical, so they'll win more than they lose. But they will continue to drop points because
they're
it's
too open. Yeah, like it's
yeah, they're
potentially
too
some of the
open.
bad.
And I just
Yeah.
think anyway in the Premiership, teams like playing. They like playing direct and a bit more faster pace. So it suits other teams. It suits the weaker teams as well. To give that much space in the midfield. So yeah, let's
Oh, I
see.
mean, as long as we enjoy it, I'm happy. Um, let's
They're
move
gonna
on.
be because of the entertainers, isn't it?
Yeah, let's move on, Adi. I mean, obviously, Tottenham again go down 2-0 for I think it's the fifth time in a row now, and come back to get a draw at Brentford.
Yeah, like I said, a lot of things hasn't really changed. It's like the World Cup didn't even happen because all the teams
Tottenham,
are
same old Tottenham.
yeah, but so far, listen, same old Arsenal, so far,
Yeah.
same old Newcastle, same old Liverpool, now it's same old Tottenham. So, so yeah, if you're unhappy with your team's performance before the World Cup, well, be worried because everything seems to be continuing as if there wasn't a gap. But
Yeah.
yeah, Spurs, what can we say in it? I mean, that is the Conte model. It works and it wins titles when you have good centre backs. But where and what people don't understand is so a lot of people questioning why don't Spurs play the way they do in the second half? Why don't they play like that from the first half? Then when
Yeah,
they
well,
get
that's the major question for their fans, isn't it?
yeah, but the answer is very simple. That's not they know they can't do that. As in, they can't. Their setup isn't where they dictate the game and they play with risk and they got all these fair players that can open you up
Yeah.
and create. They don't play creative football. They don't play risk football. They don't play
It's
flair
chance, isn't
football.
it? Yeah.
They play counter-attack football. They don't have those players and they don't have that setup. So this is the only way they win. They win to grinding you out, making you work, and then when you get tired, they overpower you. It's the Mourinho model, and it works when you don't have or don't want to train your team to play in an open, expansive, creative way, which is high risk. But it doesn't work when you don't have good defenders.
Yeah.
This is the problem. They don't have good defenders. Their best defender is probably Davis, or
I mean,
Langley.
he wasn't. He was. I mean,
He
Davis wasn't
wasn't
playing
playing today,
even
but
today.
today's Langley looked decent. But again,
Yeah.
just not Premiership ready. They haven't got good centre backs and they haven't got a great keeper. Even today, Fraser Foster.
Foster, yeah.
So that's why their system ain't working. But believe me, you give Conte 3 world-class defenders, and they're going on a title run because he can get a second half performance, and that's all it takes.
Yeah.
But that's the model, and that's why they do it. Because if they play expansive football from the first half, they'll lose. Because they'll be too open and figured that they can't play that. He can't coach a team to be that risk of
So do Tottenham fans just need to bite their tongue and just get on with their or this constant moaning of why do we do?
Well, they're only doing as good as they are because that's their identity.
Yeah.
That's their identity. You gotta understand it. They can't do it any other way. And you got sometimes I think this is where it's must have fans and everything gotta have it now. Well, guess what? The 6 great world-class managers, 7 or 8 world-class managers who have won major titles in the continent and in this country. Guess what? Everyone's got money now. Not everyone can have it now. And when you look at Arsenal, this is Arteta's 3rd season. Last year, we didn't see this type of football on the cards. We saw maybe a little bit of glimpse here and there. And we get frustrated.
In the first half, etc. Yeah.
We get frustrated. Why doesn't he let them play with
both halves? Yeah.
But now look, it's about the players. Now he's got the players where he can trust them to execute that brand of football more often than not. He's letting them have free reign. He's brought more technically good attacking players who have the mentality, who have the right balance, who have the experience. What happens if Spurs gets Milan Skriniar, who's a free agent, and a couple more other interested, very good defenders that are available? What happens then? This brand of football will give them a chance of winning titles. So what is Conte meant to stop a tried and trusted formula that works for a few seasons just to please the fans, or does he build and get the players ready? And when they get those personnel in, don't make individual errors. I mean, come on. When you talk about the best defenders in the Prem, no one in the back line of Spurs will be mentioned. Not even one. Not the keeper. Not Dyer. Not Langley. Not Sanchez.
Romero.
Romero might, but again, we know he's reckless, isn't it? I mean,
World Cup winner, the World Cup winner.
Yeah, World Cup winner, but observe, really fortunate referees, but like I said, I mean, but yeah, he's got the mentality, he's got the aggression, he's the only one, but still, he's the only one you could say. You look at that team, all teams that win has two good centre backs, a great keeper. You've got Edson, Diaz, Laporte, Company. Before that,
Oh, you got Van Dijk, Matip, Alisson.
Yeah.
Chelsea last season when they won the Champions League. It was the last of the year before they had what's his name? Edward Mendy,
Silva.
the form of his life. Thiago Silva.
They had Rudiger. They had
Rudiger, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just think these fans are a bit deluded. They need to understand you got an amazing manager. The fact that he can get these comebacks shows mentality, shows that these players are special, are building. And at the end of the day, just imagine that team with a good keeper,
and
another two excellent centre backs. The system, the style of football will be, winning nearly every game.
Do you reckon that's why he's not signing a contract here? He's still trying to lure Levy into giving him some more money?
I think it's smart because Levy's record is everyone knows. At the end of the day, he stitches his managers up.
Yeah.
He doesn't support them. He'll do shortcut moves. So they've closed the gap. They're better than last season. They have some attacking weapons, but their defensive signings haven't worked. The fact that they played with Emerson Royale and Doherty and Sessegnon and they relied on other players, the players that were kind of already there, which already Conte has shown he's not
happy with.
So I think once he gets to sort out that back line, you're going to see
a different Tottenham.
Yeah, you're going to see this style and this brand, the game plan work better.
Another one, a lot of talk about obviously Harry Kane and how he gets over his World Cup nightmare or how he overcomes it. Do you reckon? I mean, obviously, great finish with the header. Moved on, or still gonna be a bit of a question for him? Because obviously, if he doesn't score today, I reckon everyone talks about it.
Nah, you can see from the performance in the second half, he was the main cat. I mean, he was putting himself about. He's making things happen, and you can just tell by his reaction. He's not talking too much. He's getting on with it. He's focused. He's the certain players you just know can handle it. It's not he's not mentally fragile. He wouldn't be such a good player if he was mentally fragile.
No, definitely.
So I just think there's never any doubts that he'd still continue to break records and continue to score goals.
Yeah. Quick one before obviously we wrap things up. Southampton. I mean, Nathan Jones from Luton came second game in charge. I mean, is it second or third? Third, I think.
Um,
Yeah,
I'm not
third.
sure. I think
Third.
he's
Yeah,
third because he played a cup game. I think one of
yeah.
them.
What do you make of it? Obviously 3-1 defeat to Brighton.
It looks bad. It looks
Bottom of the
worse.
table.
Yeah, I mean, it looks worse than it needs to be because obviously they've got Bazuna actually with the worst forwards. Like, I mean, even the last game they played, he was terrible. He's making a lot of errors. So, yeah, he's got problems to fix, especially in the goalkeeping area. But I genuinely think Brighton is one of the hardest teams to play face at home because they are a very good away team. They set up
Mm.
very well. The game plan for away matches is better than it is at home. So, yeah, I mean, it's worrying at home to get Transtat convincingly. But let's see. I'm not going to pass judgment, but it's not looking good. Um, yeah, I mean, the more
I mean,
interesting one is Frank Lampard and conceded injury times against Wolves, who are bottom of the
Wolves.
table.
Yeah, yeah.
And the other thing, how on earth is the bottom team in the Premiership getting Matthias Cunha?
Oh yeah. Oh,
Someone tell me that. How does that even make sense?
50 million euros, I think.
He's a signing and a half, and I can't believe none of the bigger teams went for him. I'm just shocked that it's gonna be like that Guimaraes and all of like
There
some
is, I don't
players
know,
that are
but
going.
what? There is some big pull in Wolves. I don't know what it is. Do you know what I mean? They keep
It's
pulling
very
up.
it's obvious. It's called George Mendes.
George Mendes, yeah.
George Mendes is part of their board, so you know he's pushing a lot of his players, to Wolves. But I just think,
But even yeah, Lopetegui, another new manager, I do.
yeah, and I thought as highly as he's rated as a coach, and he's rated so highly, uh, I always had the feeling his style, that style that he plays, really methodical build up. Uh, it's struggling in the Premiership, but it seems good. It seems fine, and they were, they conceded against the run of play.
Yeah.
They were the better team until Munich scored, and yeah, this Everton, the story is Everton. I mean, Lampard, I don't get it. I don't get what he's doing. Again, you just couldn't see no fluency in what they're trying to do, how they're trying to open up a team. What is their real identity of the ball? It's there's no cohesion in what they're doing, and it's
Mm.
just getting exposed. Just being physical. It's. I thought Gerrard was bad when all he saw from Aston Villa was physicality, but there was some structure still. There was
Yeah.
still, didn't make sense. It was very narrow. The formations were weird, all about Coutinho, but it was a bit weird. But there was some structure to it. With this Everton team, I don't understand what coaching is going on. What
They,
direction?
they seem very disjointed. Even like pre-season, the stuff they were doing, did it. I mean,
But that's the thing. Even at Chelsea, one of the biggest criticisms he got was the preseason, that he doesn't set up and prepare the team well. And I actually felt like this World Cup is real bad news for Everton because of that,
mm,
because of the way he's already proven he's not good at setting up team up because he doesn't really have a philosophy. He's all about day to day.
management of people, isn't it?
Yeah, that Harry Redknapp side, just building up players' confidence on the training ground by saying you're a great player. That was great what you did, and boosting their confidence and backing them. That's good. That's only good when you have a bit of structure. And now they play with pressure. So I just think, yeah, they look
I
a
mean, they
mess.
did what? They're just 1 point off at the bottom. Wolves. I mean, Wolves. They played Wolves. I mean, who climbed to 18th now, 1 point off them. So yeah, it just doesn't look good for any of the Premier League teams. Seems like apart from Nottingham Forest, all the like even Fulham won today 3-0. I mean, I don't know what Crystal Palace players were doing,
Like I
but
said, other than Wolves, which they're playing Everton, so you can't really say too much.
yeah,
Uh, everything is as you were.
yeah, pretty much, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly what you
Fulham
said.
still playing well, still dominating, still surprising, still playing good football.
Marcus Silva is proving his worth really because obviously everyone had a lot of question mark for him, but
Yeah, I think a lot of credit in the Fulham one has to go to one Mitrovic. I thought he played really well. He's been
yeah,
injured and barely trained, and then comes in and just shows how influential he is in the way they play. But I think a lot of credit has to go to the referee in that game. 2 red cards. They're both disgusting tackles. One elbow was there and one
yeah, tackle.
lunge. So
Mm,
I think referee got both right. And the main thing is, yeah, Fulham are playing a really good aggressive brand of football.
mm.
Marco
Okay.
Silva's always showed that though. He's always shown
He
that
showed, yeah, he
talent,
showed
but
glimpses, but obviously,
he always has a second season syndrome.
yeah, a lot of people questioned him because of obviously he quickly jumped from Hull to Everton, and obviously what happened with Everton. So people had a lot of question marks and shades thrown at him, but obviously he's proving his worth now finally.
Yeah, the
Mm,
thing is, but he doesn't complain about the lack of signings. He
yeah,
just focuses on his coaching and setting up the team. He shows that his ability, but
mm.
it's easier to do that at Fulham than
Everton or somewhere else, yeah,
yeah, where the expectation is there. The expectation they're playing without no mental pressure because the expectation isn't there.
yeah. Mm. Right, I mean that kind of sums it up for us. I do. I mean, Premier League resumes as it was. On that note, thank you for watching. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, and we'll see you next week.
Next week or this week?
Or this week, potentially,
Thursday.
yes. Thursday.